For decades, his name was synonymous with success, luxury, and an almost mythical reign over the music industry. Sean Diddy Combs, the architect of an empire built on chart-topping hits, lavish parties, and an undeniable swagger. He was the ultimate mogul, a figure so ingrained in pop culture, it felt as though his influence was immutable. But what if the dazzling facade we all knew was merely a meticulously crafted illusion, hiding a far darker, more disturbing reality? Right now, the legal world is being rocked by a trial that promises to dismantle every preconceived notion we ever had about Diddy, exposing not just alleged crimes, but a chilling narrative of power, control, and secrets buried beneath layers of celebrity and champagne. This isn't just a trial, it's the shocking unraveling of a kingdom. And the untold stories emerging from the shadows are far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. For what felt like an eternity, Diddy wasn't just a music executive, he was a cultural phenomenon. As the head of Bad Boy Records, he crafted an unparalleled roster of artists, launched the iconic Sean John clothing line, and cemented partnerships with global brands like CROC Vodka. His legendary white parties in the Hamptons weren't just events. They were the epitome of celebrity, exclusivity, and unrestrained excess. It seemed he had conquered every facet of the entertainment world, his net worth soaring towards $1 billion, his influence seemingly boundless. Yet, beneath the dazzling surface of his kingdom, an unsettling whisper lingered, an open secret that what transpired at a Diddy party, especially behind closed doors, was anything but dinner table conversation. This precarious foundation began to crumble with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend Cassandra Ventura, known to the world as Cassie. Suddenly, the spotlight shifted from his triumphs to terrifying accusations. Now, that near-billion-dollar fortune is being channeled into a formidable defense, a team of 9 attorneys battling to refute charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, using force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors from the Southern District of New York have laid bare a shocking narrative. They allege that Diddy exploited his immense wealth, influence, and power to compel women into horrifying, marathon sex sessions with sex workers, some of whom were reportedly flown in specifically for these so-called freak-offs at various hotel locations. Even more disturbing, it's claimed that Diddy's own employees were forced to orchestrate these events, handling everything from hiring the sex workers and coordinating their travel, to setting up lighting, procuring drugs, and even cleaning up the aftermath. The image of the ultimate mogul, once a beacon of aspirational success, is being ripped apart, revealing a deeply unsettling reality. Central to the prosecution's case is the compelling testimony of Cassandra Ventura, globally known as Cassie. A talented musical artist in her own right, Cassie's relationship with Combs spanned over a decade, and her recent time on the stand, even while 8 months pregnant, has been nothing short of explosive. She meticulously recounted the alleged abuse she endured, painting a stark picture that contradicted Diddy's public persona. The revelations were particularly chilling concerning the notorious after parties. While the world gossiped about Diddy's lavish gatherings, Cassie's testimony peeled back the curtain on something far more sinister: freak-off sessions, described as highly selective, intensely coordinated events orchestrated by Diddy himself. This wasn't merely the wild side of celebrity parties. It was, according to her, a deeply disturbing and hidden reality. The sheer scale of the alleged orchestration, and the fact that these encounters supposedly occurred for years, went largely unnoticed by the public and even by many within Diddy's inner circle. Those who knew him, those who attended his events, were left reeling. How could such deeply shocking activities remain concealed for so long, unfolding beneath the very nose of the entertainment industry? Cassie's testimony has ripped open that secret, exposing a side of the mogul that the world is only now beginning to grapple with, a calculated manipulation of power and influence that, she claims, turned her life into a horrifying, unconsenting spectacle. Her words are not just evidence, they are the shocking unveiling of a hidden truth. As Cassie's harrowing testimony continued for days, even while heavily pregnant, she began to reveal details that pulled other A-list names directly into Diddy's orbit. The sheer extent of his connections and his ability to draw power players became undeniable. For instance, she was directly questioned about the very genesis of her relationship with Combs, specifically when their first kiss occurred at her 21st birthday party. The transcript of her testimony shockingly reads, "Sean was there and he brought Dallas Austin. He brought Brittney Spears. Imagine the scene, a 21-year-old artist, and the party is graced by one of pop's biggest icons, Brittney Spears, and a celebrated music producer, Dallas Austin, known for dating Diddy's ex, Kim Porter." Cassie herself admitted, "I didn't know them. Their presence," she implied, "was solely due to Diddy." For Mina Sayhat, a Sirius host closely following the trial, this wasn't a surprise. "This is the lifestyle that Diddy lived," she explained. "He had parties, A-listers were at his parties. He was very well known. He had money. There's a charisma to him." The revelation instantly raised a crucial question. What did these high-profile individuals witness? Or perhaps, what were they aware of? While the testimony suggests A-listers like Spears were present at parties, there's a vital distinction being drawn. As Mina put it, they weren't necessarily a part of the sexual part of these parties, which is the freak-offs that lasted some of them up to 4 days. The argument is clear. Few artists in their prime, certainly not someone of Brittney Spears' stature, would have 4 days to be locked away in a hotel participating in such dark events. Yet, their mere presence, their proximity to Diddy and Cassie, serves a powerful legal purpose. Cassie, a 19-year-old at the time she signed with Bad Boy Records, with a hit single like Me and You under her belt, claims Diddy controlled her entire career, public image, and finances. The prosecution argues that having these dazzling celebrities around, dangling the promise of unparalleled connections, was a key tactic. It cultivated an environment where a young, aspiring artist would feel incredibly privileged, believing this was her path to stardom. It was a way, the prosecution suggests, to solidify Diddy's power and influence, making it all the more difficult for Cassie to ever break free from his alleged control. The allure of the in-crowd, the network of powerful figures, allegedly became a powerful tool in his arsenal. But that wasn't the full extent of the manipulation. The web of control Diddy allegedly wove around Cassie extended far beyond the lavish parties and celebrity circles. At the tender age of 19, she signed with Bad Boy Records, catapulting to fame with her 2006 hit, Me and You. According to her testimony, this contract was less about artistic freedom and more about absolute dominion. She claimed Diddy exerted total control over her career, her public image, and, critically, her finances. Under this purported arrangement, Cassie says she produced roughly 9 albums worth of music, yet virtually none of it ever saw the light of day. Imagine the sheer artistic output locked away, preventing her from developing as an independent artist or pursuing other opportunities. She was, in essence, financially tethered, her future beholden to a contract that appeared to offer little agency. This profound control created a suffocating trap. As Mina Sayhat eloquently put it, at 19, you're still technically a teenager, thrust into a world where no one else is in these exclusive rooms. You might initially tolerate certain behaviors, feeling special, believing you're part of an elite inner circle. But as time progresses, Mina explained, that power and that notoriety might not be enough to really stomach some of the horrible things that she had to do in order to stay a part of this group. When Diddy allegedly controlled her finances and kept her tied to a contract that prevented her from releasing her work, escaping became an agonizing dilemma. How was she to move on, to make music elsewhere, if she was perpetually bound? This dynamic became a critical point for the prosecution, highlighting the psychological complexity of her situation. As Diddy's power and influence surrounded her, the initial allure of the in-crowd slowly morphed into a cage. This very scenario is often explained by forensic psychologists like Dr. Don Hughes, who testified about concepts such as power dynamics, trauma bonding, and love bombing, all mechanisms that can explain why victims often remain with their abusers, feeling trapped with no clear path to freedom. The financial and artistic shackles, combined with the intoxicating glamour of Diddy's world, painted a picture of a young woman lured into a dream, only to find herself ensnared in a nightmare. But the control didn't stop at her career. It extended into the most personal aspects of her life, leading to explosive confrontations that would involve other high-profile names. And what happened next would shock everyone. As Cassie's testimony continued, the narrative took an even darker turn, highlighting Diddy's alleged possessiveness. During jury selection, a surprising name surfaced: a list actor Michael B. Jordan. Don Richard, another artist from Diddy's circle, testified about a period when Cassie had started talking to Michael B. Jordan before going to South Africa to shoot a movie. Cassie herself confirmed Diddy's suspicions, though the precise details of how he discovered her interactions with Jordan remained fuzzy. This incident, however, sparked a crucial legal debate. Was Diddy's reaction merely the fury of a jealous boyfriend, a situation perhaps deemed domestic violence and a state crime? Or was it a calculated act of control, fitting into the larger pattern of a racketeering criminal enterprise? As the prosecution asserts, Minase had found Diddy's alleged reaction to Jordan very puzzling, especially given his own alleged multiple relationships. This imbalance, she argued, suggests a deeper, more sinister control, sense of possession where Diddy could have other relationships, but Cassie seemingly could not. The situation escalated dramatically with the mention of Scott Mescudi, better known as Kid Cudi. During a break in her relationship with Diddy, Cassie reportedly began seeing Cudi, whom she had met through Combs. When Diddy allegedly discovered their connection through an email between Cassie and one of his staff members, Cassie testified that he was livid. She recounted a terrifying moment. "I just remember him putting like a wine bottle opener between his fingers and like lunging at me, just to haul his eyes blacked out, super angry. And I just had to get out of there." This, she claimed, was one of the few times she managed to escape an alleged freak-off. Fleeing to Kid Cudi's residence, Cassie later sent a chilling email to her mother from an alias account, Veronica Bang, detailing the threats. The subject line read, "Threats. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he's going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me, one on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another one sometime soon after that. Even more terrifying," she alleged. "He has also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott MSCU physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened." The most shocking escalation arrived with the allegation that Kid Cudi's car was subsequently blown up in his driveway, an act of arson, which could serve as a predicate crime for the racketeering charge. Kid Cudi himself recently took the stand, his testimony corroborating key elements. He recounted a break-in at his home in December 2011 after Cassie called him, stressed and worried, stating, "Diddy had found out about us." Cudi testified to finding his dog locked in the bathroom, gifts opened, and even moved security cameras. He called Diddy, who allegedly replied, "I'm over here waiting for you." Cudi later testified that his dog's babysitter called him to report his car was on fire. "If that's not intimidating and scary, I don't know what is," Mina reacted, highlighting the chilling sequence of threat and alleged execution. During cross-examination, the defense tried to discredit Cassie, suggesting she was lying by using a burner phone to hide her relationship with Cudi from Diddy. Cassie's poignant response was telling. "I did not want him to find out. I thought it would be way too dangerous to tell him about that because you anticipated his response, right?" "Correct. Because he was insanely jealous, right?" Had a temper. This stark exchange underscored the alleged power imbalance and the palpable fear she reportedly lived under, solidifying the prosecution's narrative of profound control and intimidation. These incidents, from a jealous rage to an alleged act of arson, paint a picture of a relationship far removed from typical celebrity drama, hinting at a deeply toxic dynamic that went far beyond mere romantic discord. The shocking revelations from Cassie's and Kid Cudi's testimonies raise a profound and troubling question. With so many high-profile individuals seemingly in Diddy's orbit, why did no one speak up? The answer, according to the prosecution, lies in the sheer force of Diddy's power and the deeply entrenched culture of silence within his kingdom. Dawn Richards' testimony added another layer to this disturbing picture. She claimed to have witnessed Diddy punch Cassie in front of other major celebrities, including Usher and Jimmy Iovine. The prosecution could argue that the presence of such influential figures and their alleged non-intervention critically amplifies Diddy's power dynamic. If Cassie was allegedly being beaten in front of industry titans, and no one stepped in, where could she possibly go for help? Dr. Don Hughes, the forensic psychologist, reinforced this point, emphasizing that victims often feel there's no one they can turn to when such high-profile individuals are complicit in their silence. It paints a chilling image. Diddy, allegedly, could commit whatever he wished, and no one would stop him, perhaps because he believed he could always cover it up or ensure compliance through silence. While there's a societal inclination to avoid intervening in domestic disputes, as Mina Sayhat noted, this situation transcended a private spat. It spoke to a system where fear trumped intervention. It's one of those things because domestic abuse is one of those things where if you get involved, you kind of become part of it, Mina explained, pointing to the real-world reluctance of outsiders to engage, especially when victims often return to their abusers. However, in this case, the scale of alleged non-intervention by A-listers in such public settings only underscores the immense psychological and social pressures allegedly exerted by Diddy. Further cementing this listen or else atmosphere was the testimony involving Harve Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy Records and a longtime friend of Combs. Don Richard testified that Pierre also witnessed Diddy hit Cassie, but did nothing. More disturbingly, Pierre, along with Diddy, allegedly delivered chilling warnings to artists on the label. It gets dark and lonely if you don't listen, and you all don't want to deal with what happens if you don't. These were not just veiled threats. They were the enforcement of a pervasive culture. As Diddy's former assistant, David James, and others have suggested, the entire Bad Boy enterprise operated like a kingdom where compliance was mandatory. Infamously, Diddy's aggressive demands on shows like making the band, like sending his assistant, Bentley, on seemingly random, impossible errands with strict deadlines were well documented. This wasn't just about Cassie. It was, allegedly, how Diddy ran his entire organization. The culture of silence, reinforced by those in his immediate circle, including high-ranking executives, created an environment where alleged threats and abuse could fester, making escape seem not just difficult, but potentially perilous. This internal culture, woven into the very fabric of Diddy's operations, forms a critical piece of the prosecution's argument, demonstrating a pattern of control that, they contend, led directly to the more severe charges now dominating headlines. But as the trial continues, even more remains to be seen. The ongoing trial of Sean Diddy Combs has ripped open a carefully constructed facade, exposing a reality far removed from the glitz and glamour we once associated with the music mogul. What began as a multi-million-dollar civil lawsuit has escalated into a federal racketeering and sex trafficking trial, revealing a disturbing narrative of alleged coercion, control, and a culture of silence that reportedly allowed dark secrets to fester for years. We've witnessed the chilling details of Cassie Ventura's testimony, painting a picture of prolonged alleged abuse and control over her career, finances, and personal life. The shocking specifics of the alleged freak-off sessions, and the profound mental and emotional toll they reportedly took, have sent shockwaves through the industry. The unexpected entanglement of A-list celebrities like Brittney Spears, Dallas Austin, Michael B. Jordan, Usher, and Jimmy Iovine, mentioned within the trial's narratives, highlights the vast reach of Diddy's influence and raises uncomfortable questions about what those in his orbit knew, and why alleged atrocities went unchecked. Kid Cudi's recent, powerful testimony, detailing alleged threats and the shocking destruction of his property, has further solidified the prosecution's claims of intimidation and retaliation, hinting at the depths of Diddy's alleged reach and willingness to enforce his will. The pervasive kingdom mentality within Bad Boy Records, reinforced by figures like Harve Pierre, paints a stark picture of an environment where silence was demanded and dissent allegedly met with severe consequences. As the trial continues to unfold, revealing more harrowing details and potential witnesses, the narrative surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has irrevocably shifted. The titan of entertainment, once untouchable, now stands accused of crimes that threaten to dismantle his entire legacy. This isn't just a legal battle. It's a profound examination of power, celebrity, and the hidden truths that can lie beneath the most dazzling surfaces. The world is watching, waiting to see if justice will finally pull back the final curtain on a once-in-question empire. The question remains, how many more secrets will be exposed before the final judgment is rendered?